Joining us this morning is President and founder of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Neily. Welcome back, Nicole. Great to see you.
Thank you.
So first, there's many parents watching right now that feel helpless when it comes to knowing their rights and also making sure their child does not suffer unintended consequences and to make sure their child is not targeted. Tell us about the initiative you are working on called Save Our Schools to position parents to essentially take back their child's education.
Sure. There are terrific organizations across the country that are working on this. So the Heritage Action Organization's initiative, Save Our Schools, is one of them. They've been holding events across the country. They did one in California in June. They did one this past week in Virginia Beach. And we at Parents Defending Education have been holding our own parent training conferences across the country this summer in places like Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, to teach parents what their rights are, because as we know, knowledge is power. And once people know where those red lines are and what their children's rights are and what their rights are as parents, then people feel better equipped to fight back against what's going on in their children's schools.
What's been the response to this?
It's been tremendously positive. People really appreciate it because people are deeply worried. Schools across the country have been going back over the past few weeks. And one thing we've been seeing through our social media channels, emails that we've been getting from parents is people are not excited. They're worried about it. They're worried about what kinds of lessons will be taught, what's taking place behind closed doors, because in far too many schools across the country, parents are still being held at arm's length. They're not being told what their curriculum is. They're being told to file public records requests rather than just being treated like partners in their children's education. And that kind of condescension and dismissal that really set off red flags for parents, and frankly, rightfully so.
And Nicole, you were a speaker at the event. First, on a personal level, tell me why you were so passionate about this and how Parents Defending Education, your organization, was developed. How did that happen?
Sure. So I have two small children. I have a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm married to a constitutional lawyer, so we know what our rights are. But as I started to look into what information's out there for average parents who don't have the same privilege I do, I was really struck that a lot of the information that's out there about civil rights and education are actually, it's at the college level. It's about campus free speech. It's about kangaroo courts. It's about Leah Thomas as a swimmer. But there's nothing about what do you do for your kindergarten, your 5th grader. And so I wanted to give people that information so that they could be better and more articulate defenders of their children's needs. Unfortunately, what we've seen over the past 2 years is the people, the gatekeepers that we thought had our children's best interests at heart, teachers unions, PTA, the Superintendent Association, the National School Board Association, they don't care about our children. They care about their money and their power. And so at the end of the day, the only people who will stand up for our children and what they need are us, the parents.
So what are some of the best resources and materials parents can check out?
Sure. There are a number of tremendous organizations out there that have been developing great resources, great symposiums and events that people can either read online, they can watch virtually. FreedomWorks has been holding trainings online in partnership with the Leadership Institute. Heritage Action has been holding these great events across the country. We at Parents Defending Education have monthly webinars. We actually have one tomorrow night talking about opting out and the surveys that are taking place in schools. And so we encourage people really to look and find these resources. Our website is defendinged.org. We archive everything. And so we encourage people, look, and if you don't find what you need, ask us. Because if it's a question you have, almost certainly there are hundreds, if not thousands of other parents across the country that have similar questions, and we want to make those resources to make people's lives easier.
And moving forward, most parents do not understand the power of school boards and how a select few can determine what your child learns at school. Can you kind of talk about the influence these boards have and what parents can do?
Sure. At the end of the day, the school board does everything. They hire the superintendent. They set the budget. They determine the priorities of that school district. And education in this country is fundamentally a local issue. It really shouldn't be set by the federal government. And so school boards have a tremendous amount of power over curriculum purchases, things like that. And so what we saw last year was a lot of parents getting smart about issues. And this year we're seeing people who want to do something about it. They're running for office. They're running recall elections. They really want to make change happen because I think we have seen, where you live matters and who represents you matters. There have been school board officials who have dismissed and pushed away, mocked parents, their constituents, who have come up, raised concerns. And so I think that's why we're starting to see people realize, get out and vote, be it in November, be it in an off-year election, because those people have a lot of sway over your life and your children's lives.
Nicole Neily, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Best of luck to you and your organization.